A name in Italian consists of a given name and a surname. Surnames are normally written after given names. In official documents, the surname may be written before given names. In speech, the use of given name before family name is standard in an educated style, but, due to bureaucratic influence, the opposite was common. Italian names with the fixed nome plus cognome structure have little to do with the ancient Roman naming conventions, which used a tripartite system of given name plus gentile name plus hereditary personal name and names. E.g., the Italian nome is not analogous to the ancient Roman nomen, since the former is the given name, while the latter the gentile name. Female name-giving tradition and name-changing rules after adoption for both sexes also differ between Roman antiquity and modern Italian use. Moreover, the low number and steady decline of importance and variety of Roman pronomina is in stark contrast with the current number of Italian given names. Given names. Many Italian male given names end in O, for example, Alberto, Alessio, Alessandro, Angelo, Anselmo, Antonio, Avellino, Bruno, Bernardo, Carlo, Cristiano, Claudio, Dario, Diego, Enrico, Enzo, Eugenio, Fabrizio, Filippo, Federico, Francesco, Franco, Fulvio, Gaetano, Gennaro, Giorgio, Giuliano, Gregorio, Marco, Mario, Martino, Massimo, Matteo, Maurizio, Mauro, Nevio, Norberto, Ottaviano, Paolo, Pietro, Riccardo, Roberto, Silvio, Stefano, Tommaso, Umberto, Valentino, Vittorio, etc. Beside that can also end in E, etc. End in I, etc. and in A. Some names, usually of foreign origin, end with a consonant, such as Christian, Christian, Igor, Ivan, Loris, Oscar and Walter, Walter. Female names commonly end in A. Adriana, Angela, Ariana, Avelina, Antonia, Berta, Bettina, Carla, Corinna, Christiana, Diana, Elena, Elisa, Eugenia, Fabrizia, Federica, Francesca, Gabriella, Gianna, Giovanna, Juliana, Hilaria, Isabella, Lavinia, Loredana, Lucia, Lucrezia, Luisa, Maddalena, Maria, Martina, Massima, Olivia, Ornella, Perola, Patrizia, Piera, Roberta, Simona, Sylvia, Sophia, Sonia, Stella, Teresa, Vittoria, Viviana, Zarina, Zita, etc. Can also end in E, as is the case with Adelaide, Adele, Agnes, Alice, Beatrice, Berenice, Geltrude, Irene, Matilda, Rochelle and Venere, for example, end in I, or even with a consonant. A few names end with an accented vowel, for instance Niccolo and Giosue. Almost every base name can have a diminutive form ending with ino, ina or eto, eto as in Paolino, Paoletto and Paolina, Paoletto from Paolo and Parola, Ello, Ello as in Donatello, Donatella from Donato and Donata, or Uccio, Accia as in Guido, Cio from Guido. The forms Usa, Usa as in Santuzza from Santa are typical of Sicilian language. The most common names are, for males, Marco, Alessandro, Giuseppe, Antonio, Luca, Giovanni, Roberto, Andrea, Stefano, Angelo, Francesco, Mario, Luigi. For females, Anna, Maria, Sara, Laura, Aurora, Valentina, Julia, Rosa, Gianna, Giuseppina, Angela, Giovanna, Sophia, Stella. Since the ancient Romans had a very limited stock of given names, very few modern Italian given names are derived directly from the classical ones. A rare example would be Marco. Some nomi were taken from classical clan names, for their meanings or because they are euphonic, such as Emilio, Emilia, Valerio, Valeria, Claudio, Claudia, Orazio, Fabio, Flavio, Flavia and Fulvio from Fulvius. When combined with a second given name, Giovanni and Pietro are commonly contracted to Gian and Pier, as in Gianfranco, Gianluca, Gianluigi, Gianmaria, Giampaolo, Giampiero, Pierangelo, Pierantonio, Pierfranco, Pierluigi, Piermaria, Pierpaolo, and so on. Italian unisex names are very rare, but the feminine name Maria is common as a masculine second name, as in Gianmaria, Carlo Maria, Anton Maria, etc. Surnames. Italy and Italians have the largest collection of surnames of any ethnicity in the world, with over 350,000. Men, except slaves, in ancient Rome always had hereditary surnames, i.e. nomen and cognomen. However, the multi-name tradition was lost by the Middle Ages. Outside the aristocracy, where surnames were often patronymic or those of manners or fiefs, most Italians began to assume hereditary surnames around 1450. Registration of baptisms and marriages became mandatory in parishes after the Council of Trento in 1564. Suffixes. A large number of Italian surnames end in I, due to the medieval Italian habit of identifying families by the name of the ancestors in the plural. For instance, Filippo from the Ormano family would be called Signor Filippo degli Ormani. In time, the middle possessive portion was dropped, but surnames became permanently pluralized and never referred to in the singular, even for a single person. Filippo Ormano would therefore be known as Filippo Ormani. Some families, however, opted to retain the possessive portion of the surnames. For instance, Lorenzo de' Medici literally means Lorenzo of the Medici. Some common suffixes indicate endearment, for example, Ello, Illo, Etto, Ino, e.g. Bernadello, Iannuccio, Bortoletto, Bernardino, Ravellino, Verdino. 1 ni, e.g. Mancione, Bologna, Capone, Pastine, Mantone, Vallone. Accio, Azzo, Asso, e.g. Boccaccio, Tarazzo, Verasso. Other endings are characteristic of certain regions. Veneto, Asso, Atto, ATI and consonants, on. Bisacco, Zoccarato, Gavinato, Bromble, Menegan, Perron, Vazzola, Peron, Franciscan, Zanon, Fanton, Pizzati. Sicily, Arro, Isi and Osso, Cavallaro, Cerisi, Rossi, Rosso. Lombardy, Ago, Ghi, Engard, Engi, Ati, Ati, Salmoiraghi, Ornaghi, Lunati, Bonati, Vernengard, Lambertengi, Marati, Orsati, Friuli, Otti, Utianti, Bortolotti, Pascuti, Coduti, Frigonar, Ret, Tuscany, Arnaci, Ecci, Uci, Bolai, Balducci, Martacci, Sardinia, Uazanis, Pashedu, Picanus, Cheru, Maris, Argiolas, Floris Melas, Abbas, Piedmont, Hiro, Audi, Asco, ZZI, Anti, Ini, Ferrero, Rambaudi, Comaco, Bonazzi, Santi, Baldovini, Calabria, Ace, Storis, Campania, Aiello, Borriello, Carniello, Daviniello, Manganello. Origins. As in most other European naming traditions, patronymics are common. Originally they were indicated by possessive, e.g. Francesco da Bernardo, meaning Francis of Bernard. De Luca remains one of the most common Italian surnames. However, de was often dropped and suffixes added, hence de Bernardo evolved to be Bernardo and eventually pluralized as Bernardi. The origin or residence of the family gave rise to many surnames, e.g. Habitat, Della Vale, Montagna. Specific place name, Abruzzi, 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 Abruzzes, Abruzzesi, d'Abruzzo, d'Abruzzo, Albanese, Albanese, Bologna, Bologna, Bolognese, Bolognesi, Bresci, Brescia, Bresciani, Bresciano, Calabrese, Calabrese, Catalani, Catalano, Catanese, Catanese, Emiliani, Emiliano, Fiorentini, Fiorentino, Firenze, Franzese, Franzesida, Geneva, Di Geneva, Geneva, Genovese, Genovesi, Greco de Luca, Di Luca, Luca, Lucchese, Lucchese, Maltese, Maltese, de Milano, Di Milano, Milano, Milanese, Milanese de Napoli, Di Napoli, Napoli, Napolitani, Napolitano, Napolitani, Napolitano, da Padova, Di Padova, Padova, Padovani, Padovano, Patavini, Patavino, Palermo, Palermitani, Palermitano de Pisa, Di Pisa, Pisa, Pisani, Pisano, Portuguese, Portoese, Puglisi, Pugliese, Romagnoli, Romagnolo, Romana, Romani, Romano, Sardo, Siciliana, Siciliani, Siciliano, Spagnola, Spagnoli, Spagnolo, Spagnuola, Spagnuoli, Spagnuolos, Vizerats, Vizeri, Svizero, Tedeschi, Tedesco, Tedesco, Todeschi, Todesco, Toscani, Toscano, Trapanese, Trapanese, Umbro, Veneziani, Veneziano, Veronese, Veronese. Nearby landmarks: Liporta, Fontana, Torregrossa. Ancestors' occupation was also a great source of surnames. Job title: Pastor, Talibui, Passafiumi and Passalacqua. Objects associated with the vocation: Zappa, Delfave, Martelli, Tenaglia, Farina, Forni, Ferraro, Garita, Garita. Nicknames, referring to physical attributes or mannerism, also gave rise to some family names, e.g., Rossi, Basso, Caprizzo, Papaardo, and Barbagiata. A few family names are still in the original Latin, like Santorum, de Juliis and de Laurentiis, reflecting that the family name has been preserved from medieval Latin sources as a part of the business or household documentation or church records. Articles. The traditional rule, and the common usage especially in Tuscany, is that, when referring to people by the surnames alone, the definite article should be used. Mario Russo, therefore, is called Il Russo. Nowadays, some prefer to use the article only, or chiefly, with historical surnames. Male given names are never preceded by an article, except in popular northern regional usage. However, in Tuscany and in northern Italy, females given names are usually preceded by articles, unless one is speaking of a personally unknown woman. This is also the traditional grammar rule. Articles are also used with the surnames of women. Gianni Rossi can be called Il Rossi or simply Rossi, but Maria Bianchi is usually La Bianchi. Placing the surname before the name is considered incorrect, and is often stigmatized as a shibboleth of illiteracy. Names that are derived from possessions of noble families normally never had articles preceding them, such as the House of Farnese and the Cornaro family. Articles were omitted for those surnames with an identifiable foreign origin, such as Cicerone. This practice somewhat resembles the Greek custom of placing definite articles before all names. This Greco-Italian practice even spread to French in the 17th century, especially in writings regarding figures in literature and painting such as Le Poussin. For example, some Italian surnames of Greek sound descent: Papasidoro, Papadopoulo,